into our presentation. So I'm going to share the presentation with you first. So we're most going to PowerPoint, but we are going to jump out to a few different things as we go through it. And so we're here tonight to talk about the community food access mapping and the process for doing that. So y'all heard a little bit about the project overall, but our goal is that by the summer, by July, we'll complete a Cumberland County and Fort Bragg food system assessment, including at least 3 policy recommendations that will be published to the Cumberland County website. And part of this is in helping give information to the Food Policy Council that's being formed as part of this grant to then make potential policy or program or intervention change in the community. So in order to achieve that goal, we have a few different strategies. The thing that we're talking about tonight is one of those strategies. So that's working with residents to compile secondary data, which is data that's kind of already out there that we just kind of we go and gather and we bring in, as well as primary data, which is data that we go and collect ourselves as part of a comprehensive food system assessment. And so we want to train residents on how to use digital devices. So it could be a smartphone, it could be a tablet, it could be a computer, to map food access and collect contextual information in their neighborhoods or in certain areas of Cumberland County using Google My Maps. And so we'll talk about Google My Maps and just show you how to use that program. So here's just a quick image of Google My Maps. And I included a link for a tutorial video that's a YouTube video that you may want to go check out after our presentation if you just want to see someone else talk about it and see if there's other things that they discuss. Yeah, I'm going to really focus in on the map that we've already created for Cumberland County and how to navigate through that. But the idea with the My Maps is that you're able to create and share custom maps that are customized to whatever your use case is, whatever your needs are. And so it's going to look very similar to Google Maps that you may use while you're driving. But it's set up in a different way so that we can kind of create our own maps. So there's going to be a couple of different ways that we're going to ask people in the community to record what you find in the food environment in Cumberland County. And so first, we're going to set it up where we have the different links to get to the recording spots in a file sharing location. And so we're going to use Google Drive. And so that is going to be a primary way that you can get access to the different things, different locations that you'll record information at. You could also click through these links that are in this PowerPoint as well. So that's another way of doing it. But we'll also discuss, depending on what device you have, you may be able to go directly into Google My Maps. If you have, you may go directly into your Google Docs if you already have that downloaded as an app on your phone. So there's 2 places where you're going to record information. So one is the Google My Map, which we'll go through here in a second. And so this could be to either place a new or find an existing marker that's designating a food access opportunity within the map. And then also we have a Google Doc that's got a table in it, and we'll show you that. And so you'll fill in the table for each of the locations that you go and assess, and that'll allow us to keep track of what you've done, because that helps with, there's an incentive structure, a payment structure for incentive for collecting information as part of the study. And you can ask Glenn more about that. But also just to make sure that everyone knows what's already been done, and so no one's duplicating any entries or anything like that. And so the idea here is that these things are going to be complementary to each other, and that the things that when the things that are in the My Map are going to match what's in the Google Doc. And so that'll allow us to make sure that everything is up to date and correct. And so we'll show you those here in a little bit. So there's different ways to access Google My Maps. So I'm going to show you a few different screenshots, and these were taken from Google's like help website. So basically, if you have an iPhone or an iPad, there's a certain way that you can access My Maps. If you have an Android device, there's a certain way you can do it. And then if you're doing it by computer, there's a certain way you can do it. And so on these next few slides, I've just pulled this information out and put it in the PowerPoint so that you can identify which device you're going to use, and then you can go through that way. So for iPhone and iPad, you're not able to download a Google My Maps app. You can only do that on the Android phone. And so your best bet is to go through Google Maps, so what you would use whenever you're driving, or to go through your browser, so like through Safari, and go to Google My Maps that way. And then once we've shared and given you access to the My Maps, and you'll be able to see the Cumberland County My Map. For an Android, it's a little bit easier. You can go through the Google Maps app, or you can download a dedicated Google My Maps app as well. So that is one perk of having an Android device. Because if you go into the My Maps app, it'll like pop up all the My Maps that you have access to. Then if you have a computer, you can go in through Google Maps, or you can just search Google My Maps. And if you're logged into Google, then it'll take you into the My Map. And so, like I said, based on whatever device that you're going to use, just look through this and follow these directions, and it'll at least give you access to the My Map. So that's what the goal of this information is, just to get you access. Okay, so this is what the My Map environment looks like, and I'll also go and do a live demonstration here in a second. But I just want to kind of orient you a little bit to a few things. So you see here, we've got this overall map of Cumberland County in yellow, and then we've got Fort Bragg boundary in gray. We've got a bunch of different things on the map, which I'll kind of talk through. But here this is like a standard map setup. So over on the left, we have a legend. So that's going to tell us everything that's within the map and what it means. So you see we have these different food stores that we've already gone ahead and mapped, and they have these different icons representing them. If you click the gray down arrow, you're able to see all the locations that are listed within each of these categories. If you want to search for a location, you can use the search box up top, and you can just start typing in whether it's Noonday Kitchen or some location. You can start typing in there, and if it's already in the map, then it'll show it that it's in the map. And if it's not, then it'll just show you like a location that once you click on it, it'll take you to that location on the map. And then you can add a point into the map. And so I'll show you that process. So you can click to add a point in the map with this icon, this like little button right here. And then also right beside it, there's a button you can click to create an area or a boundary. And then you can zoom in and out by toggling your mouse, or you can use these buttons on the bottom right. And so I'm going to go into the actual My Map and just show you what that looks like. So you're able to see the My Map now.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, awesome. All right, so this is the My Map environment. So you see I can zoom in and out. When I hover around the different things, it kind of highlights it. So say I'll just zoom in on this one point. And so you see here, when I click on it, it pops up that this is Gavin's IGA. And so if I wanted to add a description, then I would click this button right here to edit. And I could fill it, I could change the title, or I can add a description here. And so we'll talk about what you might add later on. You can also add like a photo, an image or a video in here as well. So that might be a cool thing for you to do. If there's something that it may just be the outside of the store. It may be something in the store that's a healthy item that you want to highlight or something like that. All right. So those are the different features. You can kind of like hover over each of those to see what each of them allows you to do. So there's a delete feature, a directions to here feature, etc. Yeah, I can also, just showing you how the search bar works. I was searching WMAC, but I can just start typing Gavin's IGA, and you see it'll pop up as being an option that's already in the map. So if I was to click on that, it would just like zoom me in there. So let me just show you how that works. So it would just pop it up. Otherwise, if you type in a full, like location or an address into this box and you click search, then it'll just take you there like it would in Google Maps. So if you're used to that environment, it would look familiar. These red areas, these are actually locations that we've identified as being areas where there's limited access to healthy foods. And so these red areas represent census tracts where less than 10% of the food stores are considered healthy stores. And so that's a ratio of things like supermarkets and local produce and like roadside stands, produce stands, relative to the number of corner stores and fast food restaurants. And so that just gives us an idea kind of what's happening in the environment. And so based off of that, we've identified these areas in red that are areas where there's a lot of unhealthy food and not much access to healthy food options. And so for this project, we probably are really wanting to focus in on those particular areas. But if you do have a resource that is really important for the community that's outside these red areas, then we're still interested in those as well. But we really want to try and focus on these red areas especially. Then just show you, so you can click over here to zoom in and out with these buttons. There's other ways you can, apart from like adding a point, which I guess I can show you how to do that right quick. So if I just wanted to add a point somewhere, I would just click this marker, and then I would just place it wherever I want to. So right there, then I would just change the name to whatever I wanted to. Store. And I would add in information in, and then I would just save it, and so then it will be there. So that's how you do that. So I'll just delete that. Any questions about this process so far? I'll have some slides that'll kind of go over this again just for reinforcement, but any questions that have popped up in your head so far? Okay, so I'll go back to the PowerPoint. And so again, the areas we want to focus on are the ones that are highlighted in red. So you can kind of zoom in and out and see which areas those are. So we've got certain food access opportunities already mapped in there. But if there's stuff that's missing, definitely that would be awesome. So the places we want to focus on are current retail or food access opportunities. And so we're interested in things like corner stores or small grocery stores that are independent or non-chain stores. So generally these stores are a little bit easier for us to work with compared to like a chain store. So, if there's like a neighborhood corner store and particularly in one of these areas that are red, we would love for you to go and check those out. Produce stands, roadside stands, farmers markets. We'd love for you to make sure those are either to map them if they're not already mapped, and then to add any information in there if it is mapped but just doesn't have information. Any small grills or like local restaurants, they're local or non-chain, we're interested in those as well, because they may be willing to offer or try new healthier items on their menu. So we would love for those to be a part of this. And then other things like food pantries, meal site locations, whatever else you think is a food access opportunity in Cumberland County, we want it to be mapped out. And then we also want you to map or identify places where you think there should be something, if in an area where there's not, where that thing is currently not. So there's an area or location where you think there is an opportunity to offer healthy foods, whether it be something like a produce stand, a produce box distribution, or healthy snacks, or any type of thing like that. We would love for you to mark that on the map as OS, and that stands for an opportunity spot. So say you've always thought that a certain place would be a perfect place for like a farmer's market, and we want you to mark that on the map. So things to record in Google My Map. So if it's a new location that's not on the map, then we want you to mark that location on the map by clicking and placing a place mark. And then we want you to add the name of the location, add details in the description box below the title box. And then if you want to add a picture or video or anything like that, then you can click on that camera icon and upload them that way. And then we want you to click save. All right, so at that point, then it'll be in the map for other people to see. If it's an already mapped location, then we just want you to click on that location, then click that pencil icon to edit it, to add information into the description box. And then if you want to add like a picture or anything like that, then you can do that as well. And then you click save, and then that information will be saved into the map. In terms of what we're looking for in the description box and also in the Google Doc, and I'll show you the Google Doc here at the end, but we're interested in things like days and hours of operation. If it's a food store or any kind of like food opportunity where things aren't like ready-made or anything like that, then we want to know if there's fruits available, if there's vegetables available, if there's milk available, and any other healthy items that you see that stick out. So things like nuts or wheat bread or anything like that you would consider healthy items, we would love for you to make note of that. If it's a small restaurant or grill, so any healthy items on the menu, so like salads, lean meats, fruits, vegetables, etc. If it's an opportunity site, so it's just a location that you think there should be something, we want you to put in the description box why you think it would be a good place for something, and what would you put there if you could put something there. And then you can put other things into this description box, like things you think are important, things about quality or acceptability, cleanliness, prices of certain items, or feel. So how does it feel to be in there? And so really what we're trying to do is just get an idea of what's happening in the environment. We're trying to make this as easy and straightforward as possible for you all. And we know that some of this stuff may be a little less objective, a little more subjective, but we're really just trying to get how people in the community feel about these opportunities. So on this slide, we just have an example of filling in a place mark. And so this is just adding information into that detail box. So you kind of see, this is just an example of one I did. So I've got the hours of operation. I've got information added in about this grocery store that I made up. So we have some rules for suggestions. Do not duplicate entries that you or someone else has done. So we want to make sure that we're being clean and efficient. So we don't want to have duplicate entries. That doesn't really help the project, and it means someone wasted their time. So try to check both the map and the log to make sure someone else hasn't already done that location that you're going to do. Try and make the entries into the map locations as clean and easy to read as possible. You know, sometimes you might be out and about doing this, but if you can just try and make it as clean as possible so that other people can interpret what you've written. Record all suggested things that we've asked you to record. So try and do that as best as you can. Don't delete anything unless you made the error and you're trying to fix it. Definitely don't go and delete other people's entries in either the map or the Google Doc. Don't be intrusive to the store or the store owner. I don't think that's going to be the case here, just because what we're doing is relatively simple, and you know they probably wouldn't even notice what you're doing. But if a store owner does notice that, hey, you're like on your phone and they ask about it, which nowadays is so normal to be on a phone in the store anyway, then just let them know what you're doing, and if they have any questions, then you can refer them to us. Think outside the box about places to map or suggest. You know, we provide a list of certain opportunities, but we're really interested in any opportunity where people can access food in Cumberland County. So if there's anything that we've missed, we definitely want you to put that into the map. Definitely stay safe. So don't put yourself in a compromising position, or you know, in a place where you don't feel safe, or go out at a time you don't feel safe. So safety is a huge priority. So we just want you to do whatever you feel most comfortable doing. And then last but not least, I want you to have fun with this. You know, we've kind of pitched this as like a scavenger hunt type thing. You know, hopefully you see this as a cool opportunity to go check out your community and to contribute to this effort. So we definitely want you to have fun. Any questions? Oh, actually, let me go show you the Google Doc right quick. Let's see here. Okay, so here's the Google Doc. And so you see this is a table. So I've just put in an example entry. So you see you put the location name, the location address, the name, your name, so that the name of the surveyor, which will be you, the type of food store it is, what food access opportunity it is, what healthy foods are available, and then any comments about the site that you want to share. So general thoughts, things you think are important, etc. So we want you to both do an entry into the map for each site that you assess, as well as an entry into this Google Doc. So you can see how this Google Doc will be really helpful in helping to identify what's already been done and help show everything that you did yourself. Okay. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. And that's all that we have, but we definitely want to answer any questions that you might have. So are there any questions?
Hi, I had just a comment, Rita Gunter. I listened to what you were saying and how I was trying to find out what this assessment, what it was going to entail, and trying to find the sites, because and that we deal with patients and families who live all over the county. So trying to get that information would be most helpful. The comment that I have, and you addressed some of this in your comments about safety, I don't know if there is some way that you all, or if you all thought about this, in that I sometimes think that people may not be as willing to allow you on their premises or in their facility if they see you writing information or taking pictures. And so you're saying refer the questions to you and to Gwendolyn. I understand that. Had you all thought about it, giving an identification card or something with information on it, So you would readily have that available to give to the proprietor, or even just making an appointment with the the owner, so that there would not be any misunderstandings, or, somebody, the police being called when you're at these sites, because it will take you a little bit of a time to assess the information that you're asking to report on. Some of it may be readily accessible when you go and you see it, but a lot of this, if you're looking for healthy foods and a lot of the other things that are there, and the quality of what's there, and the facility, the cleanliness, it's going to take a few minutes. So that was just my only comment. You addressed some of it when you talked about being safe and being careful, and I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I really appreciate your point. And so yeah, I've done a lot of this over the years, and so typically we are doing a much more intensive assessment of the environment. So we definitely, when we're doing that, we'll always ask permission to make sure it's okay, just because that often was, being in a store for 30 minutes to an hour. Yeah, I don't for this, I don't foresee that level of of um, of interaction with the store. But I think you make a really great point. I think it would be good for us to have something that's that the people that do this could show, that, hey, like, this is something that's being, endorsed by the Cumberland County Department of Public Health. So maybe I could talk with me and Gwen, can kind of talk through that and figure out what that will look like. We probably need to talk with Dr. Green, just to make sure, because, when you have people that are doing stuff on behalf of a government agency, I guess that gets a little tricky. So yeah, we'll definitely look into that, figure out what our options are, and see if we can make that something that is available to the people that are doing the data collection.
Yes, I think that's a good idea as well. This is Martina. I'm thinking that it would be nice to have a letter from Dr. Green with her signature at the bottom. And so, yes, I definitely think that's something that Gwen and I can talk about. Maybe send an email to Dr. Green, and maybe get a response tomorrow, hopefully. But definitely
Yeah.
taking it to Dr. Green. I know that has worked in the past when trying to do things, just having a letter with our letterhead and Dr. Green's signature.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah, that would be, great. Thank you. And like I said, nine times out of 10, like, this will never be a big deal. But yeah, every now and then you will have a store owner who is really paranoid. Most of the time, from my experience, they think that you're from another store and you're like trying to figure out what they charge for stuff. Like, that's usually what they're concerned about. But like I said, that's usually whenever we've got, like, a tablet out and we're, in there for like 30 minutes and they're wondering what we're doing. But, for this project, hopefully we'll be in and out of places so quickly that it won't be a big deal. But I do like having this memo or whatever readily available for people to use if they get themselves if there's a situation that arises where they might need it.
I think those are really good ideas to have handy and available in case that arises. My internet cut off in the beginning, and I was just looking to see if you'll be sending out this recording to everyone, or we need to request that if we're looking for that recording.
That's a good question. I guess I can talk with the health department people about this, about how they want to share this. I'm recording it on my end, so I can always share it with them, and then they can figure out the best way to get it out to the people in the community, whether that's sending it an email. It's going to be a big file, so it might have to go into like a Google Drive or something on the website or something. So yeah, we'll figure out the best way to get it to people.
Okay, we have some volunteers and residents that are very interested but couldn't make this week's trainings. The two other things were the Google Doc and the Google My Maps. Is that something that has already been shared or will be shared in the coming days?
Yeah, so it will be shared. And the settings, I think for the Google Doc, like once you have access to this PowerPoint, then you can always just use that link. Because I think it's right now, if you have the link, you're able to edit it. The My Map, I need to check the sharing permissions to make sure that people are able to freely access that. I think it may be once you either have the link or we've added your email in or your Google account into as like a user for the map. So yeah, we'll get that arranged so that people can have access to them probably the next week or so, because the goal is to start data collection in early February. So yeah, you should see it pretty soon.
Sounds good. That answers all my questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And then also with the recording of this session, so I'll be talking with the Public Information Office about what the best way to distribute this video would be. We might be able to have it posted on the Healthiest Cities and Counties Challenge webpage that's under the Health Department. I feel like that's one of the best ways that we would be able to have it readily available for residents. So yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions before we hop off? Like I said, you can always reach out to us if you have any questions about how to use Google My Maps or any other parts of the process. We'd be more than happy to talk. All right, thank you for your time, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you,
Thank you all for
Gary.
coming.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.